kicking.
We had our dinner break already, and party and all that, and even that we got the oil restrictor made. Which one did we do? We did one of those. Time to assemble motor together before I have to do one more repair or change or modification. What's the chance of this happening?
100%.
100% chance it's not going to happen in order. Something else will come up before it's assembled. Like where's no key. Do we have a key for this motor? I see no key. There it is. You were worried there for a second, weren't you? You just have the key is straight in the hole. Never hit on a key with that. I read that once. And never hit a key into a shaft. You might break it. So that's how you don't do it.
Don't do that again.
One thing you don't do is hit on the shaft with a steel hammer. You can hit on it with a plastic hammer. That's perfectly fine. You might. All right, we need one of those and one of those. It's assembled, see? But not torqued. Re-Loctite the crank pin. Do not put Loctite in oil hole. Very bad.
I thought we were working on restriction.
That would restrict the bearings from moving, yes. Let's see, we had a nut out one day. There it is. Alright, that looks like we're good, right? Nope. Now we go torque it.
That's a big torque wrench.
I got an extension that goes on there for that. I don't think I'll be able to pull it down to my normal torque. You can't see the torque from that side.
Thought I was going to be looking at your back.
That's about it. You quick enough to see that?
So,
It was over 2. In fact, he wants to see 100. What's it, 80? Between 80 and 120, I forget what number is for that torque. That was 230, I think that's what it was. That's pretty close, isn't it? This is the bigger nut here. Now these are supposed to be tacked to 150, 180, or 200, depending on what your book you're looking at. So we just go about that much. Give it a bite on it. And yeah, about there. How much was that?
a little over 4.
4 pounds?
Yep.
You're not reading a Newton meter, are you?
That looked like an old meter.
All right. Now you want to film go? Yep. You want to make sure this doesn't hit on your rod set. And very important to make sure there's no Loctite in your bearing area. So always take a rag and wipe around that edge right there. We don't want no Loctite on our bearings. I just take our cages, go like that. Take our big rod, stuff it on the end of there like that. Take this piece of crap right over here like this. Go like that. And make sure the rod is not tight side to side. Do we have any in play? Looks like the appropriate amount. What do you think? The appropriate amount is we have at least 20, or at least 18. It's good tape to see it pull it tight. Everything off. Make sure there's no crap in there. Very important to have no crap on your new motor. Keep the oil off the taper over here because that is where we want the Loctite to be, not the oil. Now it takes one skinny one fat one skinny one. And I try to put the least amount of wear toward the flywheel because it's going to wear the most. Now these rollers here, they come in from the outside. Just lay it down like this and assemble up our rollers. I did have these all laid out over here, didn't I? You remember what the layout was? Now the oil will help hold them in there a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. But it pre-lubes them, that's the important part. Should be all of them. Okay, now we go into our small ones. You know why I'm going every other roller?
No idea.
What do you think?
What do I think? Because it's easier than doing them side by side.
Nope. Because these rollers came out of a package all by themselves. And we don't have any more of them. So I want to make sure I equally distribute them around our surface. So if they come in a tick fat, like like a tenth fat, we won't have them all on one side. It'll still spin evenly in a circle. So now we're using these ones. Even though rollers are all supposed to be the same size, don't believe it. Now if these happen to be a little bit small, a little bit big, You at least won't be all in just one little area. Even though these two are kind of close to each other. Now I can put them in normally because these are all the same size. Rollers vary up to 1/10 usually when you measure them. If they're really crappy bearings, I'll measure 2/10 variable. That's why I try not to buy unnamed import bearings that are cheap. Try to buy good stuff that works. So these are Sonic bearing. That's a good company. And there's another problem there. You see those rollers are the wrong size, wrong length?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't tell me that. That would be called mixed up. So somehow the bag of bearings got mixed up. Here's another bag here. So we need to separate out our good ones from our bad ones, because we have two different models of bearings here. It's called Big Twin bearings and Sportster bearings. And if you're not sure the difference, that is the difference. So these are all short. These other ones over here are long. See, those all are the right length now. Where's our cage? It's on the vehicle. So you want to make sure the roller fills up the whole cage. See how it fills up the whole cage? That does not fill up the whole cage. Now that would work, but you'd be sacrificing bearing area. We don't want to sacrifice bearing area. So it's called paying attention as you assemble the motor. Should have caught that before though. I haven't done that one in a lot of years. As long as you pick these up straight, they stay put, see? I could put rollers in with both hands at once. Practice. Alright. You. Just one more. To get it all. See anything missing on your side? It'll look good on my side. See anything missing?
Nope.
Good deal. One of these bags is
It would probably work just fine if one was missing, but once again, there goes that sacrificing bearing surface.
That's right. We don't want to be doing that. These 9160 bearings right here are Sportster parts.
That's why you had two bags of bearings that were both labeled 001.
Yeah,
one was a 001 short, and one was a 001.
No, this short is, that is short. This is the wrong pipe. There's a difference. So we gotta make sure those go in the Sportster bag and not back into the big twin bag. Now the confusing part is the short roller fits both bikes. So, okay, double check, make sure they're all in there. See, now I'm being disturbed by the video. Okay, now we go ahead and lube up this assembly, because this might be the only lube it gets for the rest of its life. I've had customers like that before.
Not most of your customers?
Well, some actually look at the oil lines or put a gauge on it and let you know when there's no oil pressure, but some of them just don't do anything. Just get on the bike and go. Wonder why the oil tank's cold.
Or why the rocker boxes are hot.
Yeah, that too. Or the motor decides it doesn't want to run after a few miles. So these have the racing grooves in there for oil. Okay, everything is lubed. Put the rods back on them. Very important to put the rods on the motor correctly. The rear rod goes in the rear, front rod goes in the front. I have put them together long before. Usually figure that out when you're truing the crank. Hopefully not after you trued it. But I've done that too. When you put a motor together, you kind of notice it. Unless it's a 30s motor, then they are backwards. Why Harley changed, nobody knows. But I'm sure they had a theory. Okay, there's our good Loctite. And you want to put this on this half of the crank pin taper, not on the other half. That way when the stuff squeezes in, it goes up and the crank pin doesn't get into the bearings. Hopefully. Stick it, slide a little bit to smear it. Now we're going to use the workbench to kind of center the wheels up so they're not like that when we hold them together. But they move anyway, so depending on how much they move, I might take it back forward again here real quick. See how even it is? This one's a little bit low, but pretty close, see?
Pretty good.
Close enough for what we're doing now. Okay. Okay, now you're going to go torque this down. Make sure your key don't fall out. And then we put the appropriate torque on it. Recenter it. Torque it some more. Just under 3. That's getting a little soft. It's not torquing anymore, so we stop at 280 or 90, whatever that was. Okay, you want to check your rods, make sure that they have in play, and that they do move freely. Very important. All right. Nice and free. They don't come out. We put a little bit of lube on our taper here, so the taper will work freely. I'll put these in as close to the flower as you can make it without hitting the crank pin nut. We've got a lot of room on this. You stroke them with it's way up out of the way. So get real close. Now this shaft over here, remember, was loose on the taper. It was on the press, so I'll check it close and I'll check it far and see if it varies, because it might be worn. Okay, now we want to make sure that the rods are not going to hit the main shafts at all. So we got clearance, that's good. Okay, there's how close it is. Like not even. So it's high here and high here. Center of the flywheel's right here. So we need to shift the wheels. So jam the wedge under it and hit it a little bit. See how it got better? High spots right here. High spots right here. They're both high in the same spot. And they're about 90 degrees to the crank pin. So this needs to be squeezed, and this needs to be spread. It's easier to spread them than do the other one, so over here, spread them a little bit. See how one more we needed. Actually, it's pretty close to being on the bottom now, which is good. The high spot is just over center on this side. On this side here, it's pretty much on center. So this is our high spot right here. So this needs to go down, and it also needs to be squeezed in slightly. So the force of impact will squeeze it slightly, and instead of hitting right there, hit it over here, so it's downwards pressure as well as inwards pressure. Otherwise known as doing two things at once. And that didn't do a damn thing. It means I gotta hit it a lot harder than that. So we ramp up our pressures a little bit. And it didn't really move all that much again. See if it changed the location. The location changed slightly, but pretty much about the same area. Except now this one shifted slightly, so we got them back in line with each other. So we got another spread over here. a squeeze over here. Back on center. So now we're back to the squeeze job. Better. Over squeeze it high on this side now. We're high early. We're high early. So as I go to my center, come back a little bit. We need just a little bit. And we're back high on the other side. Too much. We're on center though. The high spot instead of being here is now over here, see? Keep sneaking up on the pressure. Change a little bit of something here. Let's see where we're off now. Almost at 90 degrees. Chasing me. Yep, that shifted. I hit it too hard, it moved. It moved too far. Tie there. Tie way over there. See, it shifted. Now we bring it back.
it wasn't on.
Okay, after beating on it for another 15 minutes. Starting to get pretty close now, but it's a matter if I want to screw it up, try to make it a little bit better, or make it a lot worse. And most people would say probably no. Problem is, I'm picky.
Oh, that pen is not even moving. It is moving, but it's
That moved.
moving so slightly.
They're twitching. On a big stroker motor, that's what you want, a twitch, because it's going to shake the shit out of it already anyway. Alright, that's how they're supposed to be.
This is a stroker here.
It only took, what, about 45 minutes to do all that? Yeah, it's 4 3/4 strokes, not 8-inch motor.